You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.
This is a huge deal. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, also do me a huge favor by also liking today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. First and foremost, Bears fans, I hope you guys had an outstanding Memorial Day weekend. I know I took a couple of days off myself to kind of just do some mental recovery. And I know I was kind of feeling a little bit under the weather. My throat was kind of hurting. So I took a couple of days off from the podcast, but I'm definitely happy to be back. I know I enjoyed my time with my family over the Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you guys did the same. I'm super excited to be back for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic right here to talk a little bit more about the Chicago Bears. And I know that we're in some dead period right now, so I've been taking the time to really read over some articles, and I do enjoy reading when it comes to the Chicago Bears. And I've been reading over some articles, and I ran into something while reading one of these articles that was really intriguing to me, and I wanted to come on here on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic and actually share that with you guys. Brett Coleman of the Film Room actually appeared on 670 The Score the other day to talk about Caleb Williams and what to actually expect from this Chicago Bears offense this season. And for the most part, Bears fans, we have talked a whole lot about Caleb Williams and the expectations for this Bears offense this season. And there's been a whole lot of upgrades. Obviously we have Shane Waldron as an offensive coordinator, and he's obviously an upgrade from Luke Getsy. We have Caleb Williams. We have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, right? Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, DeAndre Swift, and much, much more. There is a whole lot of expectations from this Chicago Bears offense this season. But once again, Brett Coleman did go on 670 To Score to talk about what we should actually expect from this Chicago Bears offense this season. And Bears fans, he actually believes that this Bears offense can actually be better than the Miami Dolphins offense from the last 2 years. And everyone knows how good Miami Dolphins offense has been over the last couple of years, led by head coach Mike McDaniels. Obviously, you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. This offense has been absolutely explosive, but Brett Coleman actually believes that the Bears offense has that potential to be even better. This is what he had to say, Bears fans. Check this out.
We saw that a lot with Miami. They kind of pushed that to the absolute maximum last year. 87% of all their snaps had motion, and over 400 of those snaps had motion at the snap. And what that does is it kind of creates conflict in the defense where, a lot of defenses that are playing zone match, they're operating off of a count, right? So if you've got two receivers to one side, two receivers to the other, you're counting 1, 2. Okay, we're going to build a triangle around these guys. So if he breaks in and out, I've got him. If he breaks in or short and out, I've got him. If he breaks short and in, you've got him. If he goes deep, we have our deep guy in the triangle that takes him. And so they kind of build these triangles. But if you have motion at the snap, and all of a sudden they go from 2x2 to 3x1 at the snap, now you got to build a box all of a sudden, not a triangle. And so it kind of creates these communication errors where, you're trying to play 4/3 in an instant when you were just playing 3/2. And it can just cause DBs to back up and kind of concede space. And we saw Miami take advantage of that. They were just manufacturing space by using all this motion. Now, how teams kind of countered that later in the year is they realized, okay, well, only one guy can be in motion, so we're just going to play man against everybody and then double the motion guy, and we're going to make them beat us with everybody else. So if Tyreek's in motion, we're going to get a bracket on Tyreek, and then we're going to have L'Jarius, go beat the snot out of somebody else in the line of scrimmage and make them do that. And Miami couldn't really punch their way out of that box. You look at Chicago, I think they're a team that's ripe to abuse this trend because they have so many guys that are good against press coverage that if DJ's the motion man, we force a bracket on him. Okay.
Keenan Allen is, yeah.
The Keenan's one-on-one, Rome's one-on-one against press, which is literally what he does. So, I think the Bears are actually in a good position to take everything Miami did last year and then just do it better, which sounds terrifying, and it is terrifying. Like, other teams in the NFC North should be afraid of that.
Bears fans, first and foremost, it would be absolutely amazing as a Bears fan to watch the Bears offense light up the NFL like the Miami Dolphins offense has lit up the NFL over the last couple of seasons. No offense. And this is just spitting straight facts right now on KIEQ on the mic. No offense has caused defensive coordinators to lose more sleep over the past 2 years more than the Miami Dolphins offense. When you look at the Miami Dolphins, not only do they have a ton of speed in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, etc. You can even talk about Davion Achane as well, the young running back that they have that has a whole lot of speed as well. They also have one of the best play callers in the game in head coach Mike McDaniel. And one of the strategies that the Miami Dolphins really use, and obviously Brett Coleman talked about it in that little clip I showed you on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, is one of the strategies they use a heavy dose of pre-snap motion. And it's really interesting that he compared, the Chicago Bears to the Miami Dolphins, because that's where Shane Waldron comes from. When he was with the Seattle Seahawks did a lot of pre-snap motion, and obviously the Seattle Seahawks were also a very successful offense under Shane Waldron. But now Shane Waldron's coming to Chicago, and he has a lot to work with in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, etc. So it's really interesting that Brett Coleman brought up and really compared the Chicago Bears to the Miami Dolphins, and he believes that the Chicago Bears could be the Miami Dolphins 2.0. But that's why the Miami Dolphins have really been successful over the last couple of years, because they use a lot of heavy dose of that pre-snap motion. And basically everyone understands football 101 is when you do this pre-snap motion, you're hoping to force the defense to really show its hand in their coverage and just create that extra space for your wide receivers and running backs. And in this instance, when you have a lot of speed, like the Miami Dolphins do, right? And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and do a lot of pre-snap motion. It causes the defense to show their hand, and it allows the speedsters like Tyreek Hill to absolutely get off. And that's what you've been seeing from this Miami Dolphins the last couple of years. And obviously this strategy of this pre-snap motion that we've been seeing from the Miami Dolphins the last couple of years has led the Miami Dolphins offense having the number ranked offense in the National Football League. Obviously last season, averaging 401.3 yards a game, and also had 61 offensive touchdowns, which was tied with the San Francisco 49ers. So yes, this Miami Dolphins offense was absolutely explosive. And just like Brett Coleman explained in the clip I showed you, he believes that the Bears can actually be better. And his main reasoning for having this take on why he believes Chicago Bears can actually be better than the Miami Dolphins offense was the last couple of years is the fact that opposing defenses actually found a way to kind of counter this pre-snap motion that the Miami Dolphins were so successful in running over the last couple of years by playing man coverage across the board while putting two guys on whoever the motion man was. So for example, they were able to find a way to double Tyreek Hill or double Jalen Waddle and make other guys on that offense actually beat them. And this is why Kansas City was so successful in the playoffs and was able to shut down that Miami Dolphins offense in the playoffs last year, and only held that Miami Dolphins offense to 7 points. And that was really remarkable what Kansas City was able to do to that high-powered Miami Dolphins offense. And just as Coleman explained in that clip I showed you, he believes that this tactic won't work against a team like the Chicago Bears offense due to the fact that they have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, one of the best route runners in the entire National Football League. They just drafted Rome Odunze, a master at winning one-on-one matchups while at Washington. And obviously Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears expect him to do the same thing in the National Football League at a very high level. And you're not even really accounting. He didn't really account for Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett or even DeAndre Swift in the backfield as well. So once again, Coleman makes a solid point, because the Chicago Bears, knowing that Shane Waldron also comes from an offense in Seattle where he likes to run a lot of pre-snap motion, hoping that the defense will show their hand, it makes a lot of sense why he's trying to compare the Chicago Bears to the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Bears fans, Shane Waldron, Caleb Williams, and the rest of the Chicago Bears offense have to prove that they can actually do it at a high level. Miami has been able to do it at a high level for the last 2 years, obviously being the number one ranked offense last season in the National Football League. That has yet to be seen with the Chicago Bears offense. But I think Brett Coleman does bring up some great points in that clip I showed you from his interview with 670 to Score. And here was the main issue. And this is why it makes a lot of sense that why Brett Coleman believes the Bears could actually be better than the Dolphins. And I actually agree with this. And Bears fans, that was Miami's main issue. And that's why Brett Coleman makes actually a solid point that the Bears could possibly be better than what Miami was the last couple of years on offense, because obviously Miami had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, two guys that can handle that press coverage, but they didn't have that third guy like the Chicago Bears have on their offense. So doubling Hill and Waddle, you were able to minimize the damage that was done by this Miami Dolphins defense, because no one really fears a guy like Cedric Wilson, right? Or Braxton Berrios. So I believe that Coleman is absolutely correct. The supporting cast that the Chicago Bears have in DJ Moore, in Keenan Allen, right? In Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet. So yeah, you can go ahead and double DJ Moore. All right. So who's covering Keenan Allen? That means he has a one-on-one matchup. Okay. You can double Keenan Allen. That means DJ Moore has a one-on-one matchup. That means Rome Odunze has a one-on-one matchup. That means Cole Kmet is going to be one-on-one. Gerald Everett, right? So it's just going to be too complicated to really use this tactic on the Chicago Bears offense, because they have so many weapons on the outside for Caleb Williams. And that's why a lot of people, including myself, are expecting such big things for Caleb Williams in his rookie year, because he has such a good supporting cast. Once again, Shane Waldron has to go out there and prove it as an OC with all the weapons he has, which he was pretty successful while with the Seattle Seahawks with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba. So obviously him coming to Chicago, he has a lot of toys to play with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. And I expect the Chicago Bears, with this supporting cast, they really have a chance to take that pre-snap motion to the next level. So Brett Coleman makes a lot of solid points. I think the Chicago Bears could possibly be the Miami Dolphins 2.0, and they could possibly be better from what we've seen from Miami Dolphins the last couple of years. But once again, they still have to go out there and prove it. So once again, Bears fans, I just wanted to come on here really quick and share what I saw on 670 Score with the interview with Brett Coleman. I want to ask you this before I go. Do you guys actually agree with Brett Coleman that the Chicago Bears could actually be better on offense than what Miami was for the last couple of years? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.